My name is Brenda Flynn. I used to be Brenda Johnstone. I'm one of the many Johnstones who knew and loved Del Loader so well. I want to talk a little bit about my memories of Del that I think are a little different than a lot of the scouting memories. I first met Del when I was a little girl, when my entire family would go to see the Gilbert and Sullivan plays together. So all of us, my grandparents, my parents, my siblings, my cousins, friends of the family, we would all go and see the latest Gilbert and Sullivan at the Bagley Right, starting from about the time I was 9. Del was always at the very center of these adventures, and usually had a little presentation during dinner where we talked about the play we were going to see and arranged getting all the tickets. As we grew older, he was really interested in having company to go see plays. It's a lot more fun to see a play with someone than to see it by yourself. My older sister Heidi was his theater companion for several years, but when Heidi graduated or got old enough that she had other things to do, I took over. Del and I had a ball going to the theater together. My parents actually had to put a rule in place that we're only allowed to go to Seattle once a week to see a play. Most of the time I would head to Seattle right after school, and I would meet Del in like South Center, and then we would go have dinner together. We had strong opinions about the fine dining establishments in Seattle, and then we would see a play or a concert or an opera. You may have seen this picture of this folder in some of the materials. This is not even a full year's worth of all of the things that Del and I saw together. We have several folders like this that I tape all the tickets onto. He had season tickets to the ACT, the ACT, to the Intiman Theater, the Seattle Rep. He would take me to sometimes the musicals that came through. And when I fell in love with opera, thanks to him taking me to Lohengrin, he got season tickets to the Seattle Opera. One of the high points of my young life was when he got tickets to the Ring Cycle. That was like an entire week. It was during the summer where I'd go at like noon, and then we would go to the pre-production discussion and listen to the history of the play or the opera we were about to see, and then we would go out to dinner, and then we would watch the opera. And then on the middle day, we actually had a full day long workshop with the folks at the Seattle Opera about the Ring Cycle. Del also went to Ashland with me. We would drive down together. He used to have this itinerary with every single stop between where we were and Ashland all mapped out. I would stay at the youth hostel or with some friends who lived in the area. And we would often do like 2 plays, 3 plays a day, trying to catch the entire season in just a few days. There was always an off day. And every time we went down, he would have something different planned. He wouldn't always tell me what it was. So for instance, one time, he told me that it was about marble hulls, and so I wore a skirt and a silk shirt and some nice shoes. And actually, we were doing a cave spelunk, so fortunately they weren't high heels. Another time, he and I went whitewater river rafting together on the Rogue River when it was at high water, which gave me a little more of a view of like Scouter Del than Theater Del that I usually saw. Del was incredibly important to me. I actually have here, it turns out he saved every letter or thing that I ever sent him. And this is like my entire youth and childhood here. Beautifully labeled, of course, because that's the Del way. You notice that he whited out the Johnstone and added the Flynn. He also never missed a concert. I was a classically trained trumpet player, and he showed up to every single one of my concerts. He kept the programs. He would talk to me about it. Now that I'm older, I understand that, the gift that I gave Del was that I loved doing this with him. Like, we had so much fun together. We really enjoyed doing these things and enjoying each other's company. And the gift he gave me is if I was excited about something, he got excited about it. He did not have opera tickets before or after I was there, but you would never have known when he and I were going to the opera together that it wasn't his favorite thing in the entire world. Del's joy and enthusiasm and love for life were contagious. He was so wise and fun to be with. I remember one drive where he spent almost an entire hour explaining to me how HMOs were going to work back when they were brand new. And he was someone whose opinion I really valued. I think it's also easy to underestimate how funny and wry he was. Like, he could be hilarious, and he loved an elaborate setup more than you could guess. See also the marble halls. I always struggled with how to describe Dell. He's not my grandfather. He's my grandfather's best friend. I have perfectly good grandfathers, and that wasn't what he was. I sometimes described him as my godfather, but what he was an extremely important person to me, and I like to think that for a few years, I was also a big part of his life. He actually gave me that tapestry, which was from his mother, and it's quite old actually now, as a gift. So that was one of the physical gifts, but most of the gifts he gave me were the gifts of his time, his attention, and a lot of theater tickets. So I'm going to miss Dell so much. I already do. I keep wanting to send him a note about the latest thing that's happening, but I will carry with him forever the gifts that he has given me.